God, hello.
I don't think that's a good way to start. God, hello.
That's really funny. I
was going to turn it off, and then I thought, no, we can't turn it off because we promised that we never edit anything. But
I was going to say, hello.
God, hello.
Well, no, I was going to say, I've donned my Captain America t-shirt. I sound like an absolute child. In order to make sure I don't become a gibbering plate of jelly.
Like the last
podcast was absolutely horrendous. I didn't look at it once. I just put it out and just
we did actually
grit my teeth. So if you haven't seen it, go and check out our last one.
It was my 3 wishes in our marriage, and it went a bit tits up because Mark got really upset. And we did sit afterwards and say, shall we look through it and decide whether to post it out or not? And I did get quite a few comments of people feeling that I'd been a bit unkind in saying to carry on. But I know you really well, and I know you would have wanted to finish that thought and that feeling, so that's why we didn't cut out. But anyway, we put it out.
I don't want my arse wiped.
And I think it did, I think it did some good because a lot of people connected up with what you were saying and what I was saying, so that was good.
Hello on iTunes.
Hello on iTunes.
And you're on a tube, or you're walking.
Yeah.
Is it a nice day where you are?
If you're new to our podcast, you might not know that we also film this and put it up on our YouTube channel, Nadia, Sawalha and Family. So you can check out Mark's Captain America t-shirt there if you like.
Get it.
If you're watching us on YouTube, could you please just hit the like button? But only if you like us. If you hate us, don't. Do not hit the like button.
What sort of a person is it that before a film has even landed and it's even going has put a thumb down? I don't understand that.
Miserable sod. And just hit the subscribe button. That would be great. So let's kick off.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Have you got a sweet?
I've got a strepsil because I have an incredibly sore throat.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'll start and you try and finish.
Is that all right? I'm pleased your outrage ceased there.
Wait, it's not the best thing when you're doing a podcast.
I'm not rattling it around or chewing gum.
I can see it hitting your teeth.
Don't look at my teeth.
Okay. So today's podcast, I am going to ask Mark a question again that he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of knows what it is, but he doesn't know which way we're going to go with it, do you?
Yeah, I do kind of know what it is because we talked about what we could do yesterday, but we don't over-talk about stuff.
No, I just said, what about if I actually ask you how you feel about being married to an older woman? And then we haven't discussed it since then, so I've got no idea what he's going to say. He's got no idea what I'm going to say. So I'm 7 years older than Mark. Is that right?
I think 6.
Do you? Well, anyway, yeah, I'm older than Mark. And,
it's not that much older, is it?
Well, except recently I've felt it more keenly.
Right.
In that I feel I've been trying to get you into a state of mind that I wouldn't have been in 6 years ago. And so it's really made me think, oh God, stop trying to push Mark into something that he's not ready for yet. This is an age difference, and so I felt the age difference in that way. I think because you're so much more, I think because you're, not cleverer than me, but you're much more educated than I am. So the balance of us has worked quite well for me, I think, the age gap, because I think I'm more emotionally able than you because of age and just because I've just had a very different childhood and a different life, and you've obviously had your struggles that you've spoken about, depression and addiction and all these things. So I feel I'm emotionally stronger than you, and you are way more intellectually stronger than me. I don't know if stronger is the right word, but we'll come to that. And yet when people say, I was thinking about this the other day, and people say, so there's an age gap. What's it like having an age gap? I talk quite a lot about this, I suppose, on Loose Women, because there's Carol, who's 20 years older than her husband.
I mean, you see, that I think is a very significantly different thing.
Yeah, but I've always said, there's no difference, doesn't make any difference. But I suddenly realised that I speak for you and I don't actually know what you think about. I think we've touched on it in other podcasts. But what is it?
Well, I mean, there's
being married to an older woman.
Well, there's a number of things, because I think as a bloke, the received wisdom, and I hear you saying it to our girls and all this kind of stuff, is that when you're young and you're a woman, you're generally, the idea is that it's kind of seen as kind of more, not logical or preferable, because I'm not saying that, you know, but it's talked about as if it's a better thing if when you're young and you're first dating, you date slightly older boys because they're so immature. So, you know, one could work that from that logic, why does that, at what point does that stop, that logic?
No, I think that stops when people get into their 20s. But a
Okay.
16-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl are not on the same level
Right.
usually.
Okay.
I think, but mostly because they just haven't had the same kind of conversation.
I mean, the official
Girls-
definition of an age gap relationship is a relationship where the difference is 10 years.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, officially. And I know you've had relationships with people who are much younger. There's been bigger age gaps.
Only one.
With you. And so I think less of why I'm in a relationship with someone who's older. Because I'm trying to
What
think.
did you think about it when we were getting married? Did you think, oh my God, she might die before me?
No, I didn't think.
Oh my God, she's going to get
No,
arthritis.
I was such an
before me.
addict and alcoholic. I was guaranteed that I was going to die. I mean, I absolutely knew I was going to die before you. I didn't think like that. I mean, now it's different.
What about my arthritis? Do you worry about that?
No, I don't think about your arthritis.
What
But
about-
no, going back to your question, which was a good one, when we first met, what did I think about it? I think I did think about it in the abstract because...
Well, you wanted more children. I
well,
was 38.
I wanted more children. And that's interesting, actually, you should say that. And every other girlfriend I'd had, bar Izzy's mum, was younger than me. So, I might have had a fling here or there with someone who was a bit older, but I wasn't like into the older woman. You know, some men are into the older woman, and I just that I don't know, but MILF and all that. But I'm not. I don't really understand. It's a little bit like the thing of, do you have a type? I don't run at it like
No,
that.
I don't.
You know, if you meet someone and you hit it off, then it's great. That said, I do remember, and I'm going to share this anecdote only because it
Why
frightened
are
me.
you looking at me? It's really weird.
No, I'm thinking. You always say that. I'm just
no, I
looking
just
off.
wondered
like
whether
to
you were
think.
a bit nervous.
No, not at all. But I remember when I was filming once in Berlin in some strange burlesque place, and we were doing something for some American channel, and it was where we interviewed Karl Lagerfeld and did loads of weird and wonderful stuff. I was working with this woman who used to be an actress in Crossroads. And this is an unforgivable anecdote. And
God,
we all
Mark,
went.
what
We
are you
all went
gonna
out.
say?
We all went out on a night out. We all were on the lash. She was very famous. I mean, I can't share who she is because she.
Don't say
No.
that.
And she was on Crossroads. And I know. Do you remember
Who's really
Crossroads?
famous from
No, I know, but everyone was talking about her. I was like, oh, right. I mean, I remember Crossroads just being that terrible thing where the names would come across. Anyway,
That's
she
that
made a pass at me in this club, and she must have been. She must have been about 45.
Oh, I know who you mean.
And I am
What
about 20, I was about 24, 25. And when she did make a pass at me, I was like, absolutely no, please.
Horrified.
No, I said that to her, please don't. And she looked absolutely grief-stricken.
Oh,
and I felt but I was young, I didn't know, and I felt absolutely ghastly. She looked absolutely broken-hearted. Now, she didn't want a relationship, she wanted a fling, but
But you were,
But-
were probably flirting, thinking you were having a really nice time.
absolutely,
In a totally different
we
headspace.
were in this place, and I was, me and her had connected because I love performers, and I was talking about acting, and
I'm literally cringing.
no, and I mean, it makes me feel a bit so.
sweating.
Am I right?
No,
Armpit?
because that will have hurt. Do you know what? She'll never have forgotten
I
that.
know, I know that, and I know that because rivers run deep with me too. And when I look back, I always feel like, God, if I'm ever in Berlin and I meet her, I'd like to say, I don't know what I'd do to say sorry.
I'm sorry, this story is so hilarious. A woman in Berlin who is very famous from Crossroads.
Yeah, she moved out there and set up a theatre company. Anyway, I'm giving away too much now. But yeah, no, but that was my first and only encounter with what I would say was an age gap situation, and I ran for the hills. I mean, literally ran for the hills. Now,
Do you think that was because of the age, or do you think? I mean, did you find her attractive? Was she amusing, entertaining?
Oh, I found her really
nice
engaging,
looking,
but
sexy?
she was firmly sat in the category of like all my girlfriends' mothers.
Shit.
That's where she was at. And so, I mean, when I hear of people like your friend, you know, who's married to someone 20 years younger, I think if it can work, it's brilliant. I mean, I've got no personal judgment on it, but
No, neither have I.
but
We know plenty
but
of
I'm
people.
fascinated. I'm fascinated by how they or the older one manages any sort of, there must be some level of insecurity or worry or concern or thought that there's a difference. And does that, is that not almost, I think I would find that insurmountable. But anyway, we've kind of got off the tack with us. So when I met you, did I think anything? Oh, no, I genuinely don't think I did. But then when we knew we wanted kids within the first week,
and then when I had a miscarriage.
And then when you had a miscarriage, I do remember thinking, oh, crikey, hang on a minute. And I don't remember thinking it in terms of...
Hang on, oh, crikey, hang on.
What if we don't have kids?
Well, because I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah, but I didn't necessarily think it in terms of just because I had 2 children. So, I felt it in terms of how is this woman going to emotionally manage? She wants kids. How is she going to be if this doesn't happen?
So was it more you were frightened for me than you were for...
Well, I was frightened for you, and then by extension I'd be quite fearful of the relationship, because I thought if you thought... and I still think this now, I think if you couldn't or didn't have children, I think you would have gone down a very slippery road yourself.
Oh, God, I'd probably
I think you would have drunk... You'd be a drinking harridan.
Yeah. I mean, that's in my soul.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I do... When I'm being an adult, I was talking about this on Loose Women the other day, I'm under a constant... like they say... Dogs haven't really been domesticated. They're in a constant state of stress living in a house.
Yeah.
Because it's just going against
Disgusting cup of tea, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's all right.
But that's how I feel being an adult. I'm in a constant state of stress. I must be an adult. I'm adulting. I must be. I mean, you see what I'm like. I cross the front door and I go into a different place because I've got to be a grown-up, because I've got children, and I think if I hadn't,
but you sometimes...
I think I was just burning really fast like you were. We were just on a road to...
Sometimes when you were... they were going...
Destruction.
Yeah, you were.
We were on a road to destruction, and that was... Certainly there was no age difference at that point. I mean,
I would never put the weight on Maddie, but I mean, I do know that for a fact that if Maddie hadn't come along, I would have, because of the trauma and sadness and upset of the older kids, and not being with them for all of the reasons, and all of the heartache and what have you, for me, having the kids was a real, lifesaver. So I think I did view, going back to the age thing, there was a certain shrill kind of started to creep in after the first and second miscarriage. Yeah.
Do you remember when we did the podcast about miscarriage, and I said to you that you'd said to me, it came out of your mouth, it was one of those things where you literally thought out loud, where it would have been like, God, did I really say that out loud?
Right.
And you just went, God, what if you can't have children?
Well,
and you'd said it just as a thought, but I think that was the point when I felt most keenly in our early relationship, the fact that I was older, because I think that's not what you meant, but that's how I took it, because I was 38, I had 2 miscarriages, and I did think, oh, this is because I'm old, this is because my life before, this is because I had a termination. There were so many different things that I felt when you said that. And I did feel a bit panicked, because I didn't want to lose you because of those things, because I knew we had, something special.
See, I thought you thought I was a great candidate to be a dad, because you've often talked about it. You'd liked the way you'd seen me with Izzy, you liked the way I was about having children. I wasn't a shirker. I wasn't someone who, I like the emotional, muckiness one has to get into with your kids. I'm not shy about that. And I suppose that is quite rare in a lot of men. So, and so part of me thought that if you couldn't have kids, you may not want me. Because I thought you saw me as a great potential father of your children, but I didn't have the self-esteem to think that there was anything else to me that you really wanted. Well, no. But I mean, it's interesting going back to that point. So, in that sense, the concept of age did figure, but then it quite rapidly was pushed to the back as soon as you were, we found out that I was still as fertile as hell, and so were you.
But it's 6 years, or 7 years, whatever it is, in the fertility stakes is a lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, really, we're at our prime at 16, actually, but physiologically, up until our mid-20s, and after that, everything is quite a struggle.
Unless, like me, you're doing the Joe Wicks and you're once again re-entering it.
But so I think that was a dodgy time probably for us around the age difference. I felt a kind of responsibility, because I thought, God, what if I can't have children because of my age? Then it's not fair, because I did see how much pain you were in, not having the access that you wanted with your children and all of that drama that was always going on. But
I tell you that,
now, I think now we've reached, and then obviously for the middle years, we probably haven't noticed, but we are going into a different area
well,
now.
we're going into a different area now, but before we move on to that area, I mean, I would say that there have been a number of sort of bumps in the road where I think the age difference has kicked in. And obviously, for the sake of decency, we won't go into extreme detail. But I do think things... No, you're definitely
Sorry, I
in
just had
shot.
to move. I'm
no,
still in
It's
shot.
because I have to do the split screen and it's quite tricky if you're watching us on YouTube. And, you know, a shift in certain sort of... in libido and changes that you've gone through, I really struggled with because... And there were times where I felt, I mean, this is totally, I'm not saying this is right. I try to be really honest. I realise the lipstick comment caused Armageddon. But I'm going to just be honest. You know, there were times where I felt, this is unjust, this is unfair, because I'm not at that age. So I'm not ready for this sort of hanging up my training shoes and chucking in the towel and maybe sex once every 6 weeks or, you know, whatever the change or shift was going to be. I was like, hang on a minute. And it wasn't like, this is my due. I wasn't saying it in a kind of, but I remember feeling and thinking...
That was nothing to do with age, that
Well, it
period of
is,
time in
it-
my life. That was to do with having children.
No, it was to do with having children, but also
it really was.
yeah, but your menopause and everything, when that came, you know, there was a very definite shift. And I felt like I was brought to a certain, and I'm not saying it's a shift that isn't necessarily right or just has to be done and all relationships go through it. I just felt it came a little bit sooner perhaps than it would have done if I was with someone who was younger. Was that actually, I do have to entertain thoughts of, you know, all sorts of physical issues, libido, time, sensibility, priority. I get, you know, I'm kind of slightly now where you were 5 years ago, where actually sex isn't everything for the first time in my life, but I've only just got there realising that. And so, you know, I do think, and I'm sure a lot of relationships with that, so I'm fascinated to know how
definitely think-
20-year gaps work when
I
you're just
definitely-
too old and knackered to do it.
I definitely...
I mean, it's simple.
I definitely
it's
think,
simple
you know, the
fact.
menopause is such a massive deal. It is literally like being hit by a truck. And I decided, having spoken about it for a while, I then decided to stop talking about it because I do think, and I can see why people retreat with it, because none of it is attractive for your partner. None of it is... And it is the end of something, and it's a very, very sad thing for me when I have my menopause. I mean, everything changes, and you don't know whether you're, you know, which way to turn, because you lose so much of yourself and what you were driving towards, and then you have to stop and like completely change path. And it was it was the darkest time going through it, and I did think at times that's really hard for you because...
Not as
You're
hard
not
as it
there.
is for you, but just a different hard.
Yeah, it's a different kind of hard. Yeah, no, it wasn't as hard for you as it was for
No,
me. But
not
it is.
at all.
It doesn't negate the fact that it is. That
Well,
it
the
is
relationship's
difficult
going
within
through
a
a change.
relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think at that point you with it, you know, concentrating on the age gap thing. You know, God, never is it clearer than or more obvious than it was then.
No, exactly. And I do think, I mean, and you know, there's other funny things like, I mean, I suppose you know now your hunt and your desire for, we talked about it yesterday, you know, sort of meditation and mindfulness and all these kind of things, in and of themselves, totally make sense. But sometimes, although I see the appeal of them, and it's not like it only happens at a certain age, there are some things which I don't want to think about. There are some things that you think, hang on, you know, we'll get to that, and I think, oh well, actually no, she's mid-50s, she's got to that. How will you feel in your mid-50s? And, you know, it's weird
Well,
because...
this is the age gap in place now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always like to do that number line thing when I hear about age gap differences in relationships. I do it with the kids. They go, oh, God, Leonardo's dating a... And I always take it back to school. It's like, you know, when you were 16, I was 10. And at that age, that seems bloody strange. I'm still to this day fascinated at what point it becomes all right.
I know, it's funny, isn't
Because when you see an older man with, say you see a man in his 30s with a 20-something, everyone automatically thinks, what a sleazeball.
Yeah, like 26. If I was 26 and you were 20, that wouldn't have been right.
No, that wouldn't have been right.
I'm going to start being able to not do the numbers.
No, but here's an interesting thing. So with your friend Carol, for example, I bet there's a lot of arched eyebrows like, oh, yeah, it's all fun. You know, that's the way women are about women having younger partners. Oh, is he a toy boy? Or is he a... No, it's true.
Yeah,
and then any man that has a relationship like that, it's like you dirty old perv.
Yeah, no, there is a mismatch with that, definitely.
And the weird thing about that is you're not necessarily wrong to think they're a dirty old perv. But here's the thing. Why aren't the women dirty old pervs?
I know, it's interesting.
And I'm not saying they are,
why.
but why do we never sort of go to the point of, oh, that's a bit unpalatable actually? And I'm not saying it is. I don't necessarily think that, but I do think there are problems. I do think there are issues. For example, I often think about this, where I often hear stories. The kids come in and talk about parents of friends and they split up. You know, a father who say brings home a girlfriend who's the same age as his daughter. It beggars belief to me. It beggars belief, but it's so too would it if a mother brought home a boyfriend the same age as her son. So if a 45-year-old woman came in with a 25-year-old boyfriend and she's got 20-year-old kids, personally, I think you have some criteria in your life where that ain't on the menu. And I feel that quite strongly. And I don't know if I feel that quite strongly because I witnessed relationships where there was huge age gaps in my childhood, and there's something about it. It's not necessarily mean that anyone is untoward, but I do think sometimes we feel we're entitled to everything.
But what about us? Not talking about other people, because one never knows what's going on between two people's relationship. And
I get worried that I am now the oldest man you've ever been with. I mean, although there's an age gap between, although there's an age gap, I feel there is a pressure on me because I know you've always had relationships with much younger men. There is a magpie in the garden that our dog is trying to attack. So do.
Can I just say something? I've had one relationship.
One relationship.
And no other relationships when anyone was younger than me.
Okay, all right, sorry. But I sometimes, what was I saying?
I don't know.
I sometimes feel the pressure. I worry that although I'm younger than you, I have to somehow stay younger than you.
Oh.
And so that maybe some of the appeal was that I was younger and more vibrant and more this and more that.
No, because I never felt that age gap. So no, in fact, the age gap that I felt has been the more difficult sides of our relationship.
Where you would characterise it as immaturity, emotional immaturity, or emotional. Yeah.
Emotional immaturity.
Mm.
So, for me, I'd prefer it if you were the same age.
Right.
The fact that you were 6 years younger than me is not a bonus.
Right. So you don't like the age gap?
No, it's not. I don't like the age gap.
You're trying to promote that.
But
You
it's
can see
not,
it in your eyes. There's a little flick.
But it's not in any way one of the reasons why I'm with you.
Right.
It doesn't register.
No, I know.
It never did. I never went, oh, he's younger. Oh, that's good. Because first of all, I think I look quite young for my age anyway. So there was never that. I didn't feel like, I've got this guy.
You look younger than me.
I've got this guy that looks so much younger than me, and so it was just. It wasn't. No, it just no. But you're sort of laughing and making these sounds like I'm saying this in a negative way, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it like. I'm not being dishonest in any way. This is absolutely what I. Just
so
never
for
registered.
you, the age gap is a problem.
Well, no, that in itself as well makes it sound like too big a thing. If anything. If I was pushed to say something, I would err on the side of, I would prefer it if you were closer to my age. It's not because you're younger than me. Whoa, I've got a younger husband.
So you're drawn to older men?
No, I'm not drawn to older men. I'm not drawn to people. I'm not drawn to.
So would you be drawn to someone who's just more emotionally mature than me?
I'm not drawn to types.
Yeah.
If you look through all my boyfriends, you would not see a running theme. There are no types. I fall for people, I fall for people's hearts, and everything else I try and make it work. And that's where I've gone wrong in some of my relationships, because there's been something good in somebody's heart, and then I've looked away from the too many other problems, the all-encompassing negatives really that weren't enough to balance it out. So no, simple answer is I don't think about. I've never been attracted to a much older man. I don't know whether that's because I have a really good and close relationship with my dad, so it would feel like my dad. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just never gone in.
It's like maybe it's the same as me never being attracted to younger women. I just don't. It's like if I met a 24, 25 probably up until 30-year-old woman now, I would never ever
see them
have
as your daughter.
I would only look at them in. There's not an avuncular, but I would only come at them in a sort of paternalistic manner. You know, when I have employees or I've worked with people, I've always sought to kind of make them feel very comfortable and that I'm there as a kind of supporting person, not a sort of equivalent with a flirty kind of edge. I just not with younger women, not with younger women at all. You know, I mean. Yeah, it's funny. So, I mean, looking forward and going forward, do you feel the age gap, surely as we get older, the age gap just diminishes? I mean, men die younger, women die older. So really that 6 years, 7 years is just going to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a sense.
Except I think knee joints go earlier.
For who?
But then you've got your own physical weaknesses.
I've got all sorts of physical weaknesses. So are you worried about who will die first? I don't think... Well, I don't think
it will be age that determines who dies first.
What will it be? A bus?
No, I think it will be... I think it is in the hands of the gods.
Right.
I don't... Because there isn't that much of an age gap.
No, I don't think so.
That we would... Yeah.
See, sometimes I do worry that... I mean, only in recent months have I started... Like, a morning recently, you didn't get up early. And at the weekend. And I thought, she's fucking dead. I thought, oh my Christ. Oh my Christ, she's dead. And then I thought, she's not dead, don't be dead. And then I got myself into a right old tizzy.
Why didn't you just come up
whoa,
with
I thought, go in and check. I thought I'd go in and check. And then I thought, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Oh, sweetie.
I don't want to know that she's dead.
Oh my God, when was this?
And then I thought to myself, gosh, she keeps complaining about heads. And yeah, I was having an absolute... Because it was so silent and it was about 10 or something. I was thinking...
That is weird.
It was so strange.
When was this?
So strange. Can't remember. A couple of weeks ago.
So you just stayed downstairs?
No, I then did eventually poke my nose around the door and go, you all right? And you went, yeah, I think you still had the Kardashians blaring in your face. I worried you'd had a stroke. So I mean, there is that thing of...
But I worry the same. Like sometimes your colour is so deathly that I think, oh my God. Oh my God. Is it so? Yes, it's not. I don't think because it's 6 years, 7 years, whatever it is, it's not. Wow, but hey, my heart's worked for longer. Oh my God, I've depressed myself now.
Oh, right. I can't work out if it's a good thing that there's an age gap between us or a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Well, is anything ever just one thing or the other? It's an amalgamation of different things, isn't it? You know, the fact that I am wanting a different kind of, like I crave a different kind of sort of peace sometimes, and I do want to be zen, and I would like a tent at the bottom of the garden where I can be, and I worry that it's so absolutely fabulous, it's so Adina, it's so middle class, it's so, she wants to go and bloody find herself. But actually is the only way through after you've had your menopause, because you can't go, the estrogen has gone, it goes, and you're just driving on an empty sort of...
I think there's something
you have to shift a bit. You have to just shift a bit. Your mindset, for me, has always been just looking after people. I'm a rescuer. And I have to learn to look after myself in a different way. And that's come with my age. It couldn't come any earlier.
No.
You know, so...
I think there are times where I get a little bit perturbed when your behaviour and attitude and sort of when it's enmeshed with your sort of enacting your sort of or inhabiting how old you are, and you remind me of my nan.
Oh God.
And I think,
like what?
I don't want to be married to my nan. Well, like you'll do things like you'll shout things across rooms and you'll say, I'm not raising my voice when you are raising your voice. It's really embarrassing. And you do that thing that I do hate to, I know most of our followers are women, but something that women of a certain age really do, which is regardless of whether the empirical evidence all around us is telling us you are shouting, I'm not shouting. Oh my God, I mean, women will swear black is white. You are shouting and it's embarrassing, and I'm just asking nicely, don't do it.
You always say you're not shouting and you're 7 years old.
When I'm shouting, I do shout because I'm frustrated at you.
Oh, I see. There's the difference.
But there are times where I think, oh my God, she's
there are
times where I think, oh my God, she's an older woman.
Yeah.
She's an older woman. Shit. This is weird. I'm married to an older woman.
There's the truth.
No, but there are occasions. That's a tribute to you that they're only occasions. I mean, I don't... I don't feel it all
I
the
would
time.
if I was you. God, the amount of times I forget things. I'm
You
way too
forget
young
things,
to be
you
doing
get
that.
crabby, you don't think you're crabby. It's all the things that really I'm sort of having to, I have to draw my mum up on, which is, no, you're being like that. And one of the commonalities is you think, and my mum think that I'm annoyed with, because you're both very annoying.
But you're very annoying.
I
mate.
know I am, we all know I am. The subs tell me I am. I know where I'm annoying, but none of you guys accept where you're annoying.
Oh, that's not true.
It's
I'm very
100%
annoying.
true.
Oh my God.
The girls say, she says she's annoying, but she never admits it.
The other day we were talking on Loose Women about this new app where you can find restaurants on their noise level, and everyone's going, oh, that'd be so good, yeah, because I hate noisy restaurants. And I said, God, I'd have to look to see where the noisy restaurant is, so I could go, because I'm so annoying. I'm such an annoying, loud person that I could be masked a bit in a noisy restaurant. I'm constantly saying I'm annoying.
Sweetheart,
I don't even like being around me.
you only say you're annoying when it suits you.
Well,
When other people are annoyed by you, you will never grant them the truth. If I'm being like I'm being, I might not agree with it or like it, and then I hear it. But if I'm told by everyone, which I am, I have to go away and go, all right, well, I need to change myself.
Pause you for a minute because you look really mad.
I get mad about this.
No,
No, but you do this, you distract. You distract. This is an age thing now.
We're talking about age difference. You go, and then when and your eyes are going all over the
Another age thing is you don't like lying in the morning. You don't, I mean, for all
Because
of your
what I
wanting a
can't-
shed at the end of a garden, at the weekend, there's none of that sort of, oh, let's just let it be. It's like, what's the plan? It's like you've got to make the most of your time because you're going to die soon or something.
Let me tell you something. If we get up at 9:30 on a Sunday, all I hear all day from you is like, I can't believe the day's nearly gone. I haven't done anything. That's all you do
I'm not
all
talking
day.
about every day, every now and then. Anyway,
This
we
is-
better
This
stop.
is a podcast called How to Stay Married.
Yeah, so far.
So far.
Yeah, and so the suggestion is clearly we're on the edge all the time.
And what we were discussing was the age gap. You've now gone off into a whole load of irritations. And these people have these arguments themselves in their lives. They don't need to listen to ours.
Did you know that 8% of all married heterosexual couples are in an over 10-year age gap relationship?
I thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah, almost 10%.
Anyway,
There
thank
you
you
go.
so much for joining us. I'm sure it was of no help or interest at all. But if you stayed to the end, well done you.
Yeah, well done.